Alrighty, we are back with your favorite podcast show of the week. It is location weekly, but as you can see, we are in a different setting and venue. We are in the Austrian Alps. I am in Germany as we were here for our event this week with my good friend Karsten, who's the president of the LBMA as well here now. And we announced a lot of things this week about the future of the LBMA and where we're going and new programs and the events for this year as we are kind of coming out of COVID and kind of the new, sort of new things that are going to be happening as events come back.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a great week now. So super cool that you're here, that you're able to travel, that we can meet in person physically again, because this is what the LBMA is about. It's about sharing information. It's about sharing stories, sharing experiences globally. So we're a great network. We're working since more than 10 years on this network, and it's so necessary that we meet each other. Anyhow, so we had a great week. So we had our Eurosys pre-reaction day, a kind of a weird online format, which worked very well for us. So we announced the new strategy of the LBMA and also the ideas we have in terms of how we showcase in the future you guys and the vendors in the industry. But Asif, back to you.
Yeah, so for those who are regular watchers or listeners to the show, we typically have 4 stories that we like to cover. Ariana's away on vacation this week, enjoying some sunshine in the Dominican Republic, and here we are in the snow. Just coming out of winter, but that's okay. So we have 3 kind of stories we want to cover this week. I'll start off with our first story is an interesting one, focused on Aldi, the retailer Aldi, German retailer, in fact, although the story itself is about a test pilot store that they're doing, automated checkout, Aldi Scan and Go, it's called. It's being tested in Greenwich, London, England. And the idea is, kind of like an Amazon Go store, where you just go in, pick up the products that you want, and then you just walk out and you're being charged. However, what's unique about this is that they're using a technology from also a British company called YOTI, YOTI, to do age estimation based on facial, photos, scans, and image recognition. So. And this is being used to verify age for alcohol and cigarette purchases in a self-checkout store. So the idea is that you don't have to have any cashiers or anything like that, but you can still sell alcohol or cigarettes alongside all the other products. So simply people come in, there's a camera system that's built in, it takes a photo, and then based on how it analyzes that photo, it's able to determine whether you're old enough to be purchasing alcohol or cigarettes. They say the technology is accurate to typically within 2.2 years overall, but it's much more accurate for younger people in that 16 to 19 age group. Technology has already been proven in the UK. It's being used by the National Healthcare Service in the UK already for a number of years now, and so kind of bringing this into retail. So I think it's quite interesting, to have not just self-checkout type of environments, scan and go environments, but to also now be able to use age verification technology, for alcohol and cigarette purchases. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a great idea. The checkout system at the end of the day is the biggest bottleneck in retail. So, and if you can make more automatization there and make a age verification and things like that possible, so that will speed up the process, give the opportunity to sell goods we weren't able to sell before, because obviously you have to double check this. So this is great, and I think, especially in this case, technology can be as good as a human, but at the end of the day, the cashier is doing the same. based on her experience or his experience on, oh, how old are you or not? And when you're too young, so please verify your passport or whatever your ID. So I love this idea, and it's coming more and more. So we are used to scan our face with the iPhone and all the other things and our fingerprints. So it's getting now more and more common. So it's a great way to do this. Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So we have a couple other cases we want to talk about.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, so we had our prediction day. Reaction day, sorry. And so what we are going to do is we are having our partners on the Best Retail Cases platform, and they are presenting what's new. And there's one company called STI Group. They're a German-based POS activation company. So what they do, they build second placements in the store and doing all the big campaigns for the big brands and retailers. And actually, they now teamed up with a Canadian company. I will send the link later, and doing QR codes, which is individual QR codes for each packaging. So it's dynamic QR. That's the technology behind that, and this allows them. So if you have a second placement in a retail store, so you normally ship it through the normal supply chain to the store. So it will be delivered by a lorry or whatever, and showed up somewhere in the warehouse, in the storage of the retail store. So, and then the stuff must go there, pack it out, bring it to the store, to the retail environment, and place it in the right way. So there are many steps to do for those people, and regularly the brand has no idea what's happening with this second placement. So they send out their sales force just to check it. If it's outside, the campaign is running, and they agreed with the retailer, okay, you have to place it during a time period outside in the market, in the storefront, or in front of the cash zone, or wherever, and then they have to physical check it. And the system with the dynamic QR code allows now that you can check it through the whole chain of things you have to do with this second placement. So you can just scan it when it comes to your store, so it's shipped to your store, you scan it with a regular smartphone. You don't have to have an app. That was pretty cool. Just scan it. It's read out the QR code on the landing page, which is individual on that location, which is the location component on it. So, okay, in this case, this package appeared here. You scan it and say, right, and then you build it in the store, make a picture, and it's also related to the location where it is. And this is a proof that the retailer did everything right. So, because, at the back there are deals. So for a second placement in the store, so brands are paying a lot of money because it's sales driven, or should drive sales. And it's a great solution, very easy, quick to install. So you don't have to download any application. It's easy to understand. We did it live, so that was fine. And so this is our first case of the Best Retail Cases platform we showed this day. What are your thoughts about that, Asif?
Yeah, I think it's from a technology perspective super easy to deploy, and the whole idea of dynamic QRs. In this case, it's actually multifunctional as well. It's not just using it in the store to sort of understand where that product is placed and is it in the right spot, and but from a consumer point of view, you can also scan that QR code and get information about the product. What kind of origins of the product, the supply chain, where it's made. Is it ethically produced? All this kind of stuff. And then even when you take the product home, you can also scan the QR code again and get different information as it's dynamic and changing. So, as to, other flavors of that drink, or, if it's a food item, recipe recommendations, all kinds of things like that. So I think it's we're seeing more and more, obviously QR codes are everywhere now, driven by COVID. But I think, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, and also the consumer touch point with QR code is more and more common now for them. So it's easy. Everybody is used to use a QR code now, different from 5 years ago. Anyhow, so this was our first best retail case we showed, and then we have our second best retail case. It's about a German bakery. So German bakery in Cologne, actually, it's called Brot von Alex in the right pronunciation. And they teamed up with Epson and a company called Hoods, which is a creative digital agency in the back, and the LBMA partners and members also. And what they did is very interesting because obviously a bakery is selling bread. All handmade, super ingredients, super quality, but they have to line up and wait and stand in line in the queue to get their bread. And when they are in the store, so maybe the bread is not there. So they established a booking system, a reservation system. Actually, it's a reservation system for the bread. And the cool thing is you don't have to use an online shop, therefore. So what Hoods, as a digital agency, did is just integrate in the website. I'll click here, I want to reserve, this is my name, and that's it. No more information needed, no email addresses, no fill out, no check in, nothing. And what happens then is that in the bakery, with an Epson printer, there comes one printout. And there stands, okay, we need one bread, this size, this quality at 5 p.m., something like that. That's it. That's all information you have and a number on it. That's it. So place it here, or a name. And then you can reserve it. And that's literally all. But the cool thing is you're using these type of printers in different ways. You use it regularly. Regularly, you print your receipt out of it and at the cash. So now they're using it during the production process of bread, because it's standing in the bakery, and the paper comes out and says, oh, there is an order of 2 breads at 5 o'clock. So pin that there, pin the name on it. And if it's not coming, if the customer's not coming, that's not a problem for him, because he will sell any bread between 6 and 7 to everybody, because it's sold out every day. So that's a cool solution. And more likely it is the easiness. So it was so easy and simple. It's not a huge technology needed. It's just brain ideas, seeing, okay, this is the printer's online. We can connect to the printer directly and do those things. And this is an easy way to connect the digital world with the online world, not building a big web shop and check in and check out and registration process, which is a pain for mostly every customer at the end of the day. So what are your thoughts about that? So you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that we're finding new use cases for these kinds of simple technologies like printers, right? Yeah, I think everybody's familiar with the idea of using these printers for receipts. But to use them as part of the production process, to use them in sort of real time, essentially in the supply chain in that way, where it's kind of just in time production, I think makes a ton of sense now. And it means also you don't have to have these kind of online web shops, e-commerce type of environments where you go there and you choose the bread and you click this and then you place your order. It's just coming in, it's printed out, it's there. They make the bread, as the order comes in. Kind of in the way restaurants are operating nowadays too. It's quite efficient in terms of, from order to fulfillment and then delivery in some cases. So yeah, I like it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's also, I have a third story.
Yeah.
Which is also very cool, and a new partner of our network. They're teamed up with Pfizer, this small company. We know everybody's known. You got the shot from Pfizer. BioNTech is a German company, so BioNTech teamed up with Pfizer. Anyhow, but Pfizer has during the COVID crisis other problems with their employees and their workforces, because they have all different offices all over the world, and they are not meeting anymore because physically it wasn't allowed. They have teams in Freiburg, which is in the south of Germany. They have a team in Berlin, but they're working very close together, but they don't even know each other. So they teamed up with a partner of ours, Bildhauerei and Brauerei, and those company enabled the Pfizer team to get a virtual experience on the other office, or in the other office. So what they built is they built a space, a physical space in the office in Berlin to promote the team in Freiburg. And how did they do that? They hang some pictures. So actually there were screens were looking like pictures, like drawings or something like that on a wall, and they were interactive. So you can touch on that, and you see the actual team who's now working on the project in Freiburg with the names and what are they doing, and with videos. They produced high quality videos from the employees and say, all right, hi, my name is Michael. I'm working here in Freiburg since 5 years. My hobbies are whatever, and I'm in the team because of I'm a super expert of whatever. So they get a personal relationship. So this is kind of talking you do regularly during lunch,
yes,
or business lunch, or meet people on the copy machine or whatever when you're in the office. So click on that. Oh, my name is this. This is my hobby, and I'm working on that. So very, very successful to connect teams in a digital world, but physically, because you can stand on the screen, just tap, oh, this is the new team, and you can adjust it as you want, different project, different teams, and so give them feel a bit more homey, yeah. So, and therefore you need good quality video content, and our partners are delivering it, and the location component is that the office is obviously not in Berlin, it's in Freiburg, yeah. So that's what it is, the new world.
The new world, yeah. And I don't have a lot to add to that, but I think it's really important, in this day and age where we're all working remotely, either remotely, from one office to another, or working from home, or whatever the situation is, we're all craving that human contact, that, sort of need to connect with other people, meet other people, have, conversations about things that aren't about work, and so on. So, I certainly applaud, their efforts to try to create that connection between their offices and so on. So I think it's great. Okay, final story then. So we're going to shift over to kind of as we are nearing the end of the Olympics now. Coca-Cola, obviously, which is always a big sponsor behind the Olympics. One of the key brands involved in that. In Shanghai, has set up a customer and athletes lounge, physical lounge environment, large space that you can go in and you can buy various Coca-Cola products and so on. But what's interesting about it is they've teamed up with a company out of the U.S. Called SandStar, which is an AI data analytics company, and they're based in North Carolina. And what they're doing is using various AI and camera, video analytics, things like that. They're able to analyze the movements of people inside of the lounge. So no beacons or anything like this. It's using AI to interpret the data and some, again, image recognition, facial detection type of technologies as well. And so using that, they're analyzing the video and so on, and they can determine how many people are in the lounge at any given time, what the numbers have looked like, for each day of the week, since the lounge has been open, the total numbers, things like that, the ratio of male versus female people, that are visiting the lounge. And what's really interesting too, also tying that to the purchasing data. So they understand, here's how many, Diet Cokes or Coke Zeros or, whatever products have been sold in the lounge. And this is all displayed on a giant, visual screen display, dashboard-like with all the data and analytics so people can see what's going on. There's heat maps of the sort of where people are hanging out in the lounge, so you can see sort of that the clustering and so on as well. So I think it's quite interesting, again, applying the technology that we're familiar with to do tracking and location analysis and demographic profiling tied to purchase data. Nothing new there, but I think it's cool that they're sort of giving it a front stage with the Olympics and a brand like Coke. So what are your thoughts?
Absolutely amazing, well, especially that you don't need these kind of small sensors anymore. So you're using just what is there and build out of it a good experience for your marketing and decision-making process. So that's great and gives you more an idea what are they doing there. It's like the first case from Aldi. So it's based on your experience. Regularly, somebody of the company will sit in that facility and just watching. Yes. To find in the old days that's what they did. Yeah. So somebody drinking coffee, but he was just
level above, kind of watching
screening it and counting it, how many bottles of what was at what time sold. Anyhow, so it's a great thing. I love it, and yes, it's quick developments in this thing. Great.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for
What about our events?
our events. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Some news.
Some news. So we have some events coming this year as part of the announcement this week about kind of the future of the LBMA. Obviously, with COVID restrictions starting to ease off, we're getting back to our physical events, our hybrid events, making things happen again. So there are a lot of things planned for this year, here in Europe. And also back in North America, we're going to bring Retail Loco back this fall in Atlanta in October. Our operations in Japan are also doing events in June and October, sort of bringing things back to where they were. And then we have, Karsten can kind of maybe tell us a little bit more, but with the Best Retail Cases platform that has been operating within the LBMA here in Germany for a little while now, quite successfully. The big announcement this week is that we're kind of bringing that international now, bringing it into North America, giving an opportunity for our companies, our members, our vendors, and so on to submit case studies into the platform and then get them promoted, internationally. And part of that is something called the Best Retail Cases Awards, where we have juries and we have award shows and things like that as well. They're tied to our events. That's a wrap for episode number 557 of Location Weekly. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.